All right, welcome back to another session of Awareness with Raquel Moore, and I am your host, Taylor Martin. So we were just talking just a little bit about societal programming and how that really stems from a very early age. And it's interesting to see how that affects people throughout the course of their lifetime.
Oh, it sets up the course of their lifetime.
Right. It actually dictates their course, it seems. So I know that the work that you do allows deprogramming, and I think what's really fascinating about the work that you do is that, again, if somebody's willing to do the work, the tools are simple enough where a 5-year-old can do them and do them effectively and see the results. And I know
because they want the monsters out of the closet gone. So
do the adults.
This is true.
And so do the adults. It's amazing how many people live their life in fear. It's amazing. And it seems the more
they just want to get to the next day, so they never accomplish anything.
Yeah. It's day
when
in,
opportunity
it's day
comes
out.
knocking at the door.
And I can't tell you how many people I talk to, and I'm always I tend to be gregarious at points, and I like to kind of feel people out.
Gregarious, that was a big word.
And I'll ask questions like in passing. I'll say, "Hey, how you doing?" And the responses are always really interesting. And one that I get more than any other is people will look at me and they'll say something like, "Live in the dream, just live in the dream," and you can see the depression and the sadness and the loss of hope and drive and momentum and joy and all of the
So they
great
should have said,
things
"I'm living
of life.
somebody else's dream."
I'm living somebody else's dream.
Which is not working for me.
Right. So I guess as you see people that are in this space, what kind of work does it take for them to get out of it? I mean, obviously they have to be able to make a conscious decision, saying, "I want to make a change, and I'm willing to put in the time and the work."
Actually, they don't.
Okay.
If you do the tools, it's like if you get on the treadmill at the gym, you lose the fat butt. If you do the tools, they work. You don't have to be that conscious or that. Because some people that come to me, they go, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just sad." Because there's piles of stuff. They don't know where to start. It's overwhelming.
Right.
So these are tools that just help you to release all that piles of garbage, whether it's this lifetime or others.
Right.
You just release it in bulk. And then you just call back your information. And I have seen people that I thought were as dumb as dirt. And they start to call their information back with these very simple tools. And they start to become not only more aware, they become more intelligent. Because it's like a computer that hasn't been maintained or downloaded and then uploaded with new information.
Right.
Because that's really all you're doing.
Right. And we all know that
it's downloading
our phones,
all the junk.
Our phones, our computers, they go through updates every week.
When's the last time most people out there have updated themselves? Probably not for many centuries, if ever. And what kind of information was it? And what was associated? What did they have to give that information? They have to give their firstborn?
Right.
Did they have,
Right.
What kind of deal did they have to make?
Right. And that's stuck in them now.
Right.
And that's one of the interesting
Still
things
controlling
that I found,
them.
Right. Is that so much of that does carry through from your previous lifetimes. And you know it, because when you know.
Or something in you feel.
It's interesting, yeah.
Or you feel empty or something.
It may be something that's totally out of my realm. Something that I've never looked at, cared about, talked about, interested in whatsoever. But I know about it.
And I'll see people that will try to access that information by watching those kind of movies. I know that's one of the reasons people are so interested in movies and television, is it's helping them to access something that was not allowed to be accessed. That there's a possibility. But something they're drawn to, like all the movies that I see that have been really popular, they're from Lord of the Rings, it's from the ancient Celtic religion.
Right.
It's like first or second Earth Age. And then, things like The Matrix. other planetary control of beings and using their energy. This is why people are so interested in these movies, and they become, or Harry Potter stuff, you know, where people are interested in, they know they have abilities, they know they can do things, they just haven't been taught how to do them.
Right, and they're so blocked down,
Right.
like you said, with all the garbage,
Right.
that they can't access.
Because if
them
you
they
can
wanted to.
release that garbage and you simply use the simple tools, you can call back. You don't even need to know what it is. You can just call back the information,
Right.
and it just goes in you, and all of a sudden you just know how to do it.
Right.
And I found that really amazing when I was doing the work, because growing up I was told that I was dumb and I couldn't keep up with things and blah, 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 this and that. Later I was tested. They found out I was at a genius level, you know. But I didn't know how to access any of this.
Right.
You know, I was put down. I was made to think I was less than.
And I think that's
Because-
another really big
yeah.
topic right now. I mean, is the fact of how women were treated, how you were always less than,
Right.
always looked at differently. It didn't matter what was inside of you; it just mattered what gender you were and what skin color you were. And so I think it's interesting. The shift that we're seeing taking place right now in the perception that we have of one another, regardless of what our genitalia is.
Yeah. Because that changes all the
Yeah,
time.
of course it does.
I mean, sometimes you're boy, sometimes you're girl, sometimes you're black, sometimes you're yellow.
Right.
Because you're learning all these different lessons by getting in different bodies. And I think if people could understand this or see what and the people that I have taught in my classes learn to see this way. And they don't take all this cultural stuff so seriously, or religions, because the higher levels, God, whatever you want to call it, has a great sense of humor, and whatever you resist the most, they're going to put you in that body.
Of course.
And it's hysterical. Because you're going to have some hard lessons to learn.
No.
So if you want to learn how to deprogram that stuff, you just get the tools, you just see these images, and you're just like, oh, I'm not just this. I'm not just this body. I'm not just a girl. I'm not just a boy. I'm not just black. I'm not just white or Chinese. Or
Right.
I'm all of these things and all of this knowledge. Maybe I've even, you know, been on other planets and other galaxies. I'm not that limited.
Right.
People limit themselves here to they make themselves try to fit into this little tiny box.
Yeah. They're in cages.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big cage.
And they're a cage that they hold the key to.
Yeah.
So
Because with these tools,
learn some tools.
get
Check
out of the
website.
cage.
Get out of the
Get out of the cage, damn it.
Get out of the cage. Check out spiritualmechanics.org, and we'll see you again for another awareness session.